Hi guys, it's Danielle here from Evelyn and Sage Avenue, and I am back with another design team project for Ruby&Pearlxo's Ruby Tuesday. Now on face value she may look like a journal cover, but she is not. She is a flower press. So as you can see, I've made my own flower press. This is incredibly easy to do and I did make it in an afternoon. The most tedious part in fact was really cutting out all the cardboard to size, and when I open it up you'll see how the cardboard has been cut to size. The main focus is Heather's gorgeous oil paintings there. So this is part of the book kit. I'll link the name below, I can't remember. It's my favourite kit, I should know the name. But it's lots of oil paintings of ladies reading, and it's got some gorgeous imagery in here, so I thought it appropriate that I did really want to use this kit, so I kind of chose the kit before I knew what I was creating. So I kind of chose one that included an image of lady reading and obviously florals because this is a flower press. After just looking at what it was called, this is actually the book club kit, and this image here is a fussy cut image, but I've just cut it out of an A4 printable that's within her Bella kit. So the base of this is just a book cover, so this is, I didn't cut the book cover down at all, I just took the spine out and just utilised the front and back cover, and then began by just building my collage. So I chose my focal image and then built my collage around it, and that's really the fun part. I mean, this isn't really complicated at all. As I say, the most time consuming part was the cutting out of the cardboard and creating my collage, but obviously that's just indecisiveness. How I originally came up with this idea is I was going to upcycle this one. So this was a flower press that I already had. It was just from a thrift shop or charity shop. And this is where I got the mechanisms for this one, so I just removed it from this one and used them in this one, but I was just going to upcycle this one, but I thought, well, it's just as easy to remove the mechanisms and make my own. So you could do this if you've got one, or you find one in a thrift shop. You could just upcycle something really easy with the Heather's digitals and maybe a bit of stain if it's wood. However, as this is the only thing that you need that's really stopping you from just going and making your own, really, because obviously this isn't something that many people have to hand, I wouldn't imagine. As I was making this, I had the idea to make smaller versions, just for some of the Heather's images would look really cute as small flower presses. So while in the process of making this, I actually ordered some more materials in order to make my smaller versions, so look out for those. They will be on my shop at some point when I can get around to doing them. I will post them on my Instagram when they are ready for sale. If you're looking for these yourself, because it did take me a little bit of research, these are called wing nuts and you can get them in various sizes. Now the sizes need to match your machine screws. These are called machine screws. And the sizes for these will refer to M3, M4, M5, M6 and so on. These I think are an M3. They are small. They're on the smaller side, but I just got these from Amazon, so they're much smaller than what I've used here, but they are appropriately sized for what I want to make. But you can get loads of different sizes, so you can find whatever works for you really, but the sizes do refer to the millimetre, and you have to match them up to these. So I bought these separately. You can buy them together, but I found it easier to buy them separately. Now once you've undone the winged bolts, which is probably the most tedious bit when you are using this, but the more cardboard you put in here, the less unwinding you'll have to do to when you're opening and closing it. I've just left this for room if you wanted to add more cardboard in there yourself. I was obviously just working with recycled cardboard that I had to hand, but you could easily add more in there if you did want to, and that would just make your unscrewing time a lot shorter. So there you can see I screwed the holes through the book board, but you could probably easily use one of your crocodiles if the book's thin enough, which really, looking at the size of the holes, I probably could have done for this size screw, but I did just use a screwdriver just to kind of make those holes in both the back and the front. So the layout of the inside is in between each piece of cardboard. I've just put some recycled paper in there. It's just a different stock really. Two sheets of paper cut to the same size, and this, when you're pressing your flowers, this will help to absorb the moisture from the flowers. You can just use the cardboard, but what I found is in the flower press that I've upcycled, the indents of the cardboard kind of indent onto the flowers as well, so the little ridges will be reflected on the flowers as well. So I've just put the paper in. You can change this out, so once you press some flowers, if it's beginning to kind of warp and stain and just get old, just replace the paper. So that's the inside, and of course you just cut it for the width of your book and the height of your book, and then just cut off the corners to make room for the mechanism. And just to give you a look at the back, this is what the back looks like. So again, just screw the holes through, literally just push them in. They're not, you can remove these, so they're not glued in, but by all means you could put some glue around the base and then push it down, and that would be secured there, but these are removable. So these are some I've pressed in the past, be that between book pages and that other flower press that I showed before. So you just lay your petals down or your flowers down, lay the other piece of paper down, and then the cardboard on top, and then you'd put your top back on and then screw it down as tight as possible, because you want as much pressure as you can get, so that it helps, one, it helps them lay flat, and then obviously you want as much moisture as possible to seep into this paper. If you're wondering about how long it takes, that will really vary. Definitely at least a couple of weeks. Obviously the longer you can leave it, the better. I've left mine just indefinitely, really. I just check on them every now and then when I remember I've got them, or I might want to use one in a project. But really you can leave them in here as long as possible. But if you're really kind of eager to have a look, you can check their progress. You can normally tell when there's still moisture in the flower. But yeah, and there'll be a paper-like texture when they are ready to use. They are going to be really delicate, obviously depending on what flower you've pressed. But just be careful when you're removing the flowers, try and be as delicate as possible. And then what I like to do in some of my projects is I've got a laminator, so I tend to laminate them between a business card laminating sheet, and then I can sew into it, I can kind of decorate it further, and it just keeps them and preserves them, and it's like a little journal card in your journal. So I hope you've enjoyed this idea, something a little bit different, but again, really easy, and just something fun to try if you maybe haven't got the ability to go and buy a flower press, because they can be quite expensive. And this is just a nice decorative, journaly kind of way. This would look gorgeous sat on a shelf along with your journals. So yeah, this is a nice display piece that's also functional. All right guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again.